好きだよ and there's 愛してるよ, right?
I really love you or something.
Yeah, I really love you. 見せなくていいよ、俺が見るからね。
だからそういう同じじゃん。
Why would I cheat on you? I would love you so much. So moving on to talk about the cons in dating Japanese girls. Don't get me wrong, they're all amazing people. I just think that these are the few things that they can be perceived a little different by some guys' standards. And one, I think the biggest complaint that lots of guys have, especially Koreans, on Japanese girls is that they value their privacy too much. And they are not willing to share their cell phone with their boyfriend.
Which is normal.
See what I mean?
That's normal.
When you're dating, sure, maybe you have some private things going on in your life, but when you're married, like what kind of things can you not share with your husband? Huh?
There are a lot of things that you cannot share.
Hey, can you give me some examples?
Like chat with my friend or family.
What kind of things do you guys talk about that I cannot see? I mean, first of all, I cannot read Japanese, so even if I saw, I would understand, but still, you bar me from going into your cell phone. Why is that?
Because it's my personal thing. It's just my privacy. You should respect the other person's privacy even though you're family. Do you go take a look at your mother's phone all the time?
Not all the time, but every time I meet her and if I'm bored, yeah, I can go there and go
No,
to
you
chat.
can't. No, you can't in Japanese culture, or at least my culture. No, it's just weird. You should respect the privacy, I believe. What do you think about it, guys?
When you say that you cannot go through my chat history, that sounds like immediate red flag for cheating.
No,
Yeah?
why
Doesn't
would
it?
I cheat on you?
Oh, that's what every cheater says. That's when they're found out, they say, "Why would I cheat on you? I would love you so much."
There's no trust. You guys saw it, right? There's no trust.
There is a fundamental trust in between us, but we should also continue to give enough courtesy to open ourselves up, to give enough confidence to the other person.
Open ourselves up?
Yeah,
No!
you sometimes go through my phone all the time, right? Like you.
That's because you do that to me.
Well, yes, there's no problem with it, right? Has there been any problem because I'm going through your phone and you're going through my phone? No. No.
I really don't understand
I'm
why
just-
you do that.
I mean, I'm just bored and guys get bored and they just want to see what their
Okay,
girlfriend is up to.
leave some comment.
When you're dating as a boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe, right? Maybe it's okay to have certain privacies, right? That's things that you don't want to open up, right? So certain like family issues, whatever, if you don't want to share. You're married.
So what?
What kind of secret are you keeping from me?
It's not like a keeping the secret.
I still end up forcing my way into looking at her phone every now and then, so I don't have much complaints right now. But this can be a very good signal that she has something going on behind your back. So any guys who would be dating Japanese girls, please watch out, yeah?
Wow, very offensive. This is very offensive.
I'm not saying you guys are...
leave some comment, please. It is a privacy that you have to respect if you love them.
What kind of things can you talk about with your friends that the husband cannot see? Like,
I mean,
are you talking
sometimes-
behind my backs?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like what? Like when we have fight? How should I do without talking?
I don't talk shit about you to my friends when we are arguing.
I mean, but unfortunately, girls do always.
Alright, so that's one biggest complaints that I have about my wife and other Japanese girls in general that I've
いやちょっ
dated.
とマジで誰かコメントしてください。もう携帯見るなんてありえないですよね普通に。結婚してても見る必要ないでしょ別に。
カップする必要がないでしょ。
もうとにかく助けて。
カップする必要がないでしょ。
隠す必要ないけど見せる必要もないよね。
見せなくていいよ、俺が見るからね。
だからそういう同じじゃん。あマジで拉致が開かない。Let's move on, yeah.
Alright. So the second complaint I have about Japanese girls is that they rarely say I love you. At least in the beginning. So in Japanese language, there's 好きだよ and there's 愛してるよ, right? I want her to use the term 愛してる, right? But in the beginning, she used to outright refuse to use that word because, oh, it's too strong. I'm not that devoted to you. Like, it means that I'm willing to sacrifice my life for this person, right? I mean, we're married, right? Aren't you willing to sacrifice your life for me?
So I've been saying that, yeah?
So yeah, there's a huge trouble in me convincing her that it's okay to say 愛してる between husbands and wives. And also, like, even ski, I don't think they say it that often, right? Do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
So, you know, like how you watch Korean dramas or Korean
Yeah,
couples.
they say that too often, so that the one time 사랑해 or I love you is less valuable, I believe. If you say that too often, like the other person kind of get used to it, and then I'm like, don't appreciate it. But whereas Japanese, we don't say like suki or aishiteru unless we really feel that way. So like one suki, one aishiteru is drastically stronger than your guys I love you or sarange.
So that was, I had to convince her, I had to tell her so many times that, hey, I want to hear I love you, I want to hear I love you. And
Yeah, but I want to say the time I really feel like I love you.
So the rest of the times you don't actually love me, that's what you're telling me, huh?
Not true.
I say I love you probably like 100 times a day, right? When I randomly walk by you, we have an eye contact and I say, hey dear, I love you, right? I do that all the time.
Yeah, why?
Because I find you lovely, right?
You don't have any other thing to talk about?
I mean, we're just passing by, like it's a short, brief instance of moment that we are sharing,
Are
and
you making heart?
I do this a lot too, like over our monitors, I just go like,
No, this is just embarrassing.
Expect there would be lots of convincing.
I mean, in our culture, we don't say aishiteru that often. That's too strong and too heavy.
So I can safely assume that the Japanese culture in general lacks love in their basis.
That's not true. That's not true. It's like our aishiteru means like I really, 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 really love you or something.
Yeah, I really, 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 really love you.
You do.
You don't?
I mean,
I mean, that's actually really convenient because I don't have to say I really, 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 really love you every time. I can just say 아이시테루 and then they would summarize the whole train of reallys, yeah? So we should say them more often, yeah?
It's not the word that you say when the other person is asking you to say that, right?
Well, guess what? It is.
No.
Between us, it is.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Alright, this is getting silly. Let's move on.
This is so silly.
The second characteristic that I want to talk about is they like following rules. It's widely well known that the Japanese as a nation and its people like to follow very strict rules. There are very strict social norms that they have to conform to, and perhaps it comes from that experience, that background. But what happens is once we agree on a rule, like a house rule as to who has to do certain house chores, then they are very strict in following those. So it can be a good thing because as long as we agree on a reasonable ground, then you don't have to remind her. She will take care of the responsibility on her own. And that goes back to the second pro that I mentioned, that they have a strong sense of responsibility. But this can be also a con because this prevents them to have enough flexibility to assist the other person when they are in a need. So what I mean by that is they would never go out of their way to help other people. When I'm in a desperate need for more time to do my own work, she would never voluntarily do the dishes for me.
If you ask me, I will do that. I just don't realize it.
Yeah, but like if you see the other person, you end up sensing that they might need your help and you offer them, right? You're like, hey, like should I take care of the
I think
dishes?
it's not Japanese thing, it's just me, personal.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, because I always called by my mother like that. I like my mother.
Huh? I'm like your mother? Okay, fine.
She always says like, why can't you realize it? Why
Yeah.
can't you do this? Because I'm doing this or something.
Yeah, why
I mean,
don't you? Yeah.
because I'm busy with my thing. So if you ask me like, could you do this? Could you do this? Then I would do that. But I mean, I just cannot realize it.
She wouldn't be very happy if I asked.
If you ask me with the proper way, I would say sure. You just don't have the ability to ask me politely or properly.
That sounds like an excuse to me. I have asked her multiple times and she finds all sorts of reasons and excuses not to take on that responsibility.
That's not true.
Alright,
That's not true.
moving on. So that was everything. We talked about, from my experience, what goods come out of dating a Japanese girl versus what you have to sacrifice. And I think it's generally true. It's not just based on my experiences. I also gather consensus from a very reliable source.
If you have any opinion, leave comment below. If you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe to our channel. And we will see you guys.
In the next video.
See you.
See you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Love you.
Love you.
Hi, Stereo.
Bye.